What's up, you guys? My name is Justin, this is Forever Self-Employed. In today's video, we're going to be doing episode number 1 of how not to sell a car. In this video series, what I want to do is document all of the car sales that did not go through. We're going to be doing some live camera footage, sales breakdowns in these videos. And essentially, I'm going to let you guys know what I could have done differently, as well as some key indicators of people who are not interested, looking at some patterns of what people do whenever they do come look at cars, and basically just breaking down the entire sales process. So if you guys do like the idea of this video series, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button for me, as well as subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon. Right now, I think about 9,000 people have hit the bell icon, so if we can get those numbers up, that would be awesome. But let's go ahead and jump right into sales footage and see what I could have done differently. Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you, Justin. So I think the owner who had So right off the bat, I know I'm stopping it pretty early, but what you guys are going to notice is this is nothing but a bunch of nitpicks. This lady walks up, she immediately, I said, hey, how's it going? The first thing that she goes towards is the front fender. The front fender does have a ding in it. I did include pictures on Facebook, so that way when anyone came out to look at the car, they already knew what to expect. There was a ding in the front fender. However, this entire video, I want you guys to notice how focused she is on the negatives of the car. And what I try to do to mitigate some of this is within the listing, I try to provide all the information so that way when people come out, they can know what to expect. Before us, I think they just bumped something and then they never got it fixed. So
I got you.
Yes,
You drove it like that?
yeah, we just drove it like that. So she wants an explanation. She goes, what happened to the front fender? I don't know, because the guy I bought it from before, he's the one who bumped the front fender. So I said he just ran into something. And then I don't know if you guys heard it, but she goes, and you drove it like that? And it's like, yeah, I drove it like that. It hasn't been fixed, has it? So there's a tendency for her to lean towards the negative, and you guys are going to see that throughout the video.
Are y'all the second one, third one?
I'm not exactly sure. Maybe show you, man. I know for sure the second one. But yeah, y'all are welcome to take a look at anything in there. All right, next question was, are we the first owners, second owners? This is a question that I get a ton whenever I'm selling cars. I honestly don't know. I could have pulled the Carfax on it. However, it's not something that I did. There's going to be questions in here that you don't necessarily know the answer to, especially how many owners has the car had. I don't know. So, but I know that we're at least the second one. The guy who had it before also put an exhaust on it, so the exhaust is a little bit, more aggressive. So she's been leaning towards the negative the entire time. She's already pointed out the front fender. This is only probably about a minute into the interaction. She's already pointed out the front fender. She's already asked me how many owners on it. So they're looking at the inside of the vehicle. I go ahead and mention that the rear exhaust is an aftermarket exhaust, because it is. And that's a benefit, because I'm sure this young man would love a more aggressive vehicle sound whenever he's driving. So one of the things I try to focus on is whenever they come to me, I try to figure out who the car is for. What is the reason that they're buying? Because then I know what I need to touch on, what I need to kind of angle my pitches towards in order to sell the car. So young guys, they typically like a loud exhaust. So as they're looking at it, I noticed that she's been kind of negative the whole time. Hey, there's a aftermarket exhaust, so you guys can kind of listen to that, because it is a little bit more aggressive. So some of these doors break, because we've had a couple other Rangers. So the next thing that gets pointed out is that the door is broken. So this happens all the time on these Rangers. Whenever they do have the 4 doors in the cab, the handle on them breaks for whatever reason. So the guy I got this truck from had rigged it up to where you could open it from the inside. But as you guys can see, whenever you're selling vehicles, what you want to do is you want to mitigate all of the downsides. The less downsides the vehicle has, the less nitpicks the customer has, the more certainty that they will have that the car is going to be good for them. So in this case, this truck just has too many small things wrong with it. If I go back in time, either I wouldn't buy it, I wouldn't sell it as high, I would do a couple things different, because it does have that front fender. The doors on it do not work. You have to open them from the inside. You guys are about to see another nitpick here in a second, but as you can see, we've only been showing this car for about 2 minutes, and we've already just had a bunch of negatives. I'm sorry? No, I mean, that one came in whenever we got it. So then she asked about the radio. She says, is this the radio y'all put in? It's obviously not a new radio, so no, I did not put in the radio. It is an older radio, just for whatever reason she wanted to point that out, as well as this. The truck did need an antenna. We did not put the antenna on, so I guess whenever they turned it on, it did not work. So we're up to 3 negatives on this already, very, very quickly in the showing process. So each negative that they point out basically will drastically decrease our chance of selling it. Absolutely, you guys are welcome to take it for a little spin. no, y'all can take it.
I mean, I just want to ride along.
She's like, well, I guess I want to drive it. Anytime that someone says that they want to drive it, I offer no resistance whatsoever. I don't tell them where to drive. I don't tell them anything. I'm just like, absolutely take it as far as you guys need to go. Check it out. I'll just be waiting here whenever you guys get back.
See, all of this you bagged and bug up. You can't.
So they're kind of taking a look at some of the imperfections in the paint. They're kind of doing a walk around on the vehicle. Whenever they're kind of talking, doing their thing, I just want to step back and let them be. Typically, whenever a question arises, she will ask me, or whenever she sees something that she doesn't like, she will ask me about it. All right, so they went for a drive. As you guys can see, I gave them plenty of space. I gave them plenty of time to take for a spin. When they come back, typically the customer will stop. They'll interact a little bit between themselves, kind of continue to talk about the vehicle. I give them additional space, and you guys will see a very important question that I like to ask whenever they come back from the drive. Did it drive good?
Yeah,
I asked, did it drive good? Because obviously I know that it drove well, or else they would have presented me with something beforehand. So, like I said, whatever the tone is, I like to set the tone. I like to shift the perspective over to the positive. So I cut out a clip on the front end, but whenever she mentioned that front fender was dented, I mentioned that we also put in new headlights. Whenever they were looking at the inside of the vehicle, I mentioned that the exhaust was an aftermarket exhaust, that it was more aggressive. Whenever they come back from the drive, I know that the truck drove well, so I said, hey, how did it drive? It drove good. So all of my questions are triggered to provide positive responses. So whenever the customer is leaning towards the negative, instead of feeding into that negative, I try to shift the perspective over to the positive.
well, I need to see if like some repairs. We didn't talk too much. And see actually if some repairs can be made. And
So this is a great indicator of somebody who isn't ready to buy today. And of course, we only want purchasers who are ready to buy today. I need to check with X, Y, and Z. I need to see about this, that repair. I need to talk to my husband, yada, yada, yada. Prolonging the decision-making process, making it easier for them just to say no. I'd rather a customer just say, hey, it's not really for me, and then kind of go about my way. But I know whenever people start leaning towards, oh, I got to see about this, I got to see about that, I know that it's probably going to be a no for them.
the only thing is the engine light, not the door light.
I was coming off of it driving, like when we got over the speed bump a bit, it just like started flashing and none of our doors were open.
Might be in like a loose wire or something.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay, so also something that happened with the truck, with the third door that I opened up, for whatever reason it didn't close well enough. So whenever they closed the driver's door, the light kept flashing saying that one of the doors was ajar. So this is yet another difficulty and problem that I have. And like I said, the more things that you can give the customer to nitpick, the less of a chance that they have to purchase. So we had the front fender, we had the door didn't work, we had the radio. She kind of mentioned some of the spots in the paint. I'm not sure if we can get them taken out. She said she had to check with her husband. And then the last thing was the door was ajar. The door light kept coming on. So as you guys can see, all these negatives will stack against us. And as much as I try to bring the view over to the positive, it always doesn't pan out. Obviously, this customer wants the best for them, so of course they're going to point out the negative. But from a selling perspective, it makes more sense for myself to mitigate all of those negatives to give me the highest chance of selling the vehicle. So something to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and finish this out. We're almost done.
So can you give Dave a number?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just text him over.
That'd be great. Like, tell call me later tonight.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, so pretty positive in there. She wanted me to give my dad her number, so that way he'd give her a call, kind of talk about price, whatever the case may be. Anyway, this deal did not end up going through, obviously, because we're talking about it right here. A few of the things that I could have done differently. Obviously, we could have made a better purchasing decision with the vehicle. Either that, or we could have done a few other things to kind of make the vehicle more sellable. It is what it is. I purchased the vehicle. Sometimes this is a situation that you get yourself in, and some of them don't sell as fast. So that is the case with this one. And yeah, this is going to be the first episode of how not to sell a car. If I were going to do anything different in this circumstance, I probably would have just picked a different vehicle to sell, because typically the vehicle will sell itself. There's not a whole bunch of tricks that you really need to pull as the seller. If the customer is looking for what you have, there's not too much resistance between them buying, with regards to any of the negatives of the vehicle. If there's not a lot of negatives, it's going to help them make the buying decision much quicker. They'll end up buying. So in this case, just too many things on the truck that did not go to the customer's liking, I guess. But anyway, my name is Justin. It's Forever Self-Employed. If you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, hustle hard and get that money, baby. Peace.